What's going on, gamers? You know, I had to react to this. This is necessarily not about being negative or anything or any of that. This is just about how funny this is. And according to DreamcastGuy, this is the worst day ever because Sony jacked up the prices. I couldn't wait to react to this and see what's going to be happening and sharing it with you guys. So, are we ready to get into this? This is how you know that it's a big thing for PlayStation for him. Because he said it's the worst day ever. Damn. So he definitely must love Sony more than anything. And I think that's kind of been obvious by what he shares in his post too. Not saying anything negative, I'm just saying it's just funny to me. So yeah, let's get into this and let's see what he has to say. It gets interesting. Let's go.
Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and this video is going to be very frustrated because I have to admit that I am genuinely annoyed. PlayStation has just announced they're raising the price of the PS5 again. Not just the Pro or the disk drive or the pack-ins, no. Just across the board, all PlayStation 5s are now getting a dramatic price increase again. This is the second major price increase in just the United States. Region by region, they've actually been bumping up the costs, but I have to admit that this is partially frustrating because I have been reporting on Sony's financial reports. PlayStation has been making literally more money than they've ever made, despite the fact that they're making less and less first-party games, which means that they're not spending billions on development, they're not making major acquisitions. PlayStation is printing money because everybody else is putting their games on their platform. Why would you increase the price of the PlayStation when the only thing even making you survive is the fact that PlayStation is over here being the primary place to play? Let's break this down. Let's take a look at these price increases. And of course, we got to talk a bit about tariffs. Hi, I'm DreamcastGuy, having the worst day of my life. Please, if you could, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. You know, right before I started filming this video, I triple checked that this is legit because I saw people sending this to
It was worth it just for that because that is something else. It really tells you that I was accurate about what I say when I do all the little slurping and all the funny stuff. That I know what I mean by like they're more about PlayStation than anything, and they will and dumping on Xbox was not an accident. It's just because he's really about that, and he just told you like right out in the open, honestly, which I respect that. To him, that's the worst day. But what is the motive behind really saying that too compared to Xbox? This is the funny thing to me. I wonder if it's going to happen in this video. I didn't watch a whole lot. I just saw some of that part and just started laughing. I was like, I got to react to this. This is funny. So let's continue.
me, and it just seems to very much defy belief. You know, back in the day, systems got cheaper. Systems would get discount after discount after discount, and that wasn't an accident. That's because for every game that sells on a particular platform, they take a 30% cut. What makes the billions of dollars for PlayStation isn't just, hey, we sold you a PlayStation. It's, hey, we sold you Games Shop keys. Hey, it's you bought our stuff through our store, right? So the fact that they just keep increasing the price, I don't know how they're just expecting this to work out in the long run. Now, everybody, of course, in the comments, I was pointing out the fact that there have been a lot of talk about tariffs. There's been talk about the fact that a lot of economists and stuff are saying that the price of average groceries, of microchips, of all hardware, software, pretty much everything in the United States, a lot of things have gone up over 50% in just the last couple months. Some stuff like groceries and steaks and stuff have gone up 78%.
Yeah, of course that stuff happens, but that's because they're also greedy. They still have tons of money and they're not really hurting. Just want to make more money. And they can agree on a fixed price and never freaking change it and just be fine on that because you took advantage of other markets for such a long time. Nobody should be able to suffer uh, because of that. Like, I mean, the people that had nothing to do with those choices. But that's what ends up happening, anyways. And then, getting to this can sometimes be complicated, but I can simplify that just by the simple thing of like the problem with tariffs is the fact that the corporations take advantage of every single tariff adjustment rather than just waiting. And then they don't jack the price um, down more or lower the price after realizing that it got lowered. So when you see stuff like that, that's when you realize there's a hole in that too. Mhm.
over the course of the last year. So it seems like these companies are trying to find a way to sort of like make themselves extra profitable at the cost of taking money from people that are already broke. Now, can I admit something? The reason I'm so frustrated about all these price increases, I have very much made a lot of videos about how expensive all the crap that Nintendo is doing, the expensiveness of the Nintendo Switch 2, them raising the price of the Nintendo Switch 1 last week, the fact that Xbox
And at the PS5 Pro.
keeps making the Xboxes more and more expensive. It is now $700 for an Xbox Series X. Ridiculous. I feel like PlayStation doing this, though, it feels extra egregious. It feels extra out of line. But let me talk about the actual numbers here. A base PS5 now is now $550. A digital edition is $500. And a PS5 Pro is now $750. So across the board, this is a $50 price increase from the original costs. I think this means that we had a temporary price bump, temporary price cuts. This is definitely permanent. It's starting tomorrow. Can I also say, this is something that annoys me. Nintendo did this as well. Nintendo just said it's starting tomorrow. I feel like if they were not quite so malicious towards their own fan base, I feel like they would at least say, hey, this is starting next month. We've got this many millions of consoles in the warehouse. If you want to buy it at the current price, do it now. No, they always.
And also the problem is how long this generation has already been going, and they're jacking up the price on their main hardware. It's still the main selling point. There is no PS6 or none of that. The Pro just came out, and I already got dude, yeah, in beta mode too, by the way. And they're jacking the price up with no games around it.
Always say, oh, prices go up tomorrow. Springing it on people right after financial reports feels extra annoying. Look at all the replies, every reply. The fact that we're at a point where buying a console early in the generation is the cheaper option is just insane. Who else remembers when consoles went down in price halfway through their lifespan? We have on this channel been talking about the leaks of the PlayStation 6. And one of the things that everybody's saying is that essentially the reason the PlayStation 6 isn't out now, even though it's not the biggest leap in technical advancements, it's because specifically they're waiting for technology to become cheaper. They're trying to make the PlayStation 6 cheaper than the PS5 Pro. I love this idea. I made videos basically saying I love that. Systems need to be cheap. They need to be affordable or else people aren't going to buy them. They're not going to
Yeah, of course. That was the point of console entry. If it's nowhere but just a Switch now, the base is even like higher. And that's a hybrid device, you know what I mean? So yeah, it is kind of getting to that point.
line up and participate and spend tons on games if they're dead broke for even just buying the tech, right? It's weird that we're talking about the PlayStation 6 while the PlayStation 5 is getting price increases. I just made a video literally like 2 hours ago about all the new details about the new Xbox handheld, which is talked to be $900. I still think that's way too expensive. Double the price of a Steam Deck is vampiric. But what if they increase the price of that as well? What if they end up having to adjust it due to market conditions and it ends up becoming $1,000 or $1,100? Look at this. God.
You never know.
Fair guess. It's increased because it keep it cheap in the U.S. because of the tariffs, though it looks like it'll now affect the entire continent. Now, a lot of people are basically being like, all right, stonks, got to do anything to keep the profit people happy, but it's only bad when Nintendo does it, right? No, everybody. I think everybody is basically saying this sucks. It sucks for everybody. The tariffs, look, I'm not going to get political. The tariffs are deeply stupid. Everybody at this point realizes the tariffs are stupid, right? I feel like it anyways. It feels like a lot of the conversation I have from people I know that own businesses and stuff, it's really weird of charging your own people. Like tariffs are paid by the importing countries. That means like they're just charging us more for no reason. And the worst part is that these companies know that they can just jack up the price now and blame it on the tariffs. I'm going to say that in a lot of these circumstances, I think specifically with Nintendo, they're lying. They're blaming the tariffs because they know it can get away with it. The tariffs exist. I'm not going to pretend that tariffs aren't cutting into their profit margins, but they were already way in the green. With PlayStation, They're absolutely just blaming tariffs. They're lying. In my opinion, they're lying. This is it. This came out. What exactly 5 weeks ago? PlayStation released a profit thing that said they have made $13 billion in profit, not just like gross revenue gained, profit. $13 billion in profit from the PS5 generation. That means that combining everything, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, every single generation before this was only $10 billion in profit. They have made more money in profit in just the last 5 years than every other console generation of PlayStation ever combined. You could 100% eat the cost of these tariffs. You could. You're choosing not to. You're just saying, we'd rather continue to screw the fans to keep our profits as much and possibly high as possible on the front end and the back end. There is a term I...
Good job, Dreamcast guy. That's not too bad. I have to say, he's speaking some truth here. And then he's showing that, yeah, it's very true. You see what I mean? They made more money than ever. They're not struggling. All that stuff is just because they want to make more money and they knew they made those mistakes and they want to correct all that. And they're not going to play these other games like, you're going to pay me 80, 90% or pay for the whole port. Just watch how all these little other things pop up, y'all. Let's see how that gets to things too. We got a lot of stuff to look at, but let me know what you guys think about this. It was just funny saying that he thought that was the worst day. Oh man, hey, he let you know he loves PlayStation most. Ponies, sit down. All right, y'all. Peace out. Stay cool.